Most men live under the illusion that women want comfort, warmth, and affection above all. They've been conditioned to believe that giving more, loving harder, and staying emotionally available will secure a woman's loyalty. But here's the truth: women aren't drawn to comfort, they're drawn to contrast. They're pulled toward the fire they can't control. That fire is the cold, grounded man who doesn't flinch. The one who doesn't react when she pulls away. The one who doesn't panic when she tests, ignores, or distances herself. That man doesn't just stand out, he becomes unforgettable. Not because he begs or performs, but because he stays centered. When you show her all your cards too soon, you remove the very thing that makes her chase. Uncertainty and desire doesn't thrive in certainty, in doubt, in tension. The man who gives it all away, his time, his energy, his emotions without making her earn any of it, suffocates the dynamic that creates seduction. He becomes predictable. And once you're predictable, she stops feeling. Because feelings are born in the unknown, in the contrast between warmth and cold, presence and distance. The cold man isn't unfeeling, he's in control. He sees the chaos, but doesn't get pulled into it. He notices the game, but doesn't play. And that restraint, that refusal to be moved, creates a psychological pull she can't resist. It's not about being mean, it's about being unmoved. Because the second she realizes she can't shake you, that you don't need her attention to validate your worth, you step into a different category. You're no longer the man who gives to the man she wants to earn. And that shift, that's where real power begins. Coldness isn't cruel tide's controlled contrast. And contrast is the root of her obsession. You've been told that to win a woman, you need to prove your worth. Shower her with affection, attention, and reassurance. But here's the hard truth. You don't prove your worth, you become it. The second you start chasing her, convincing her, trying to win her approval, you place your value in her hands. And the more you do that, the less she sees you as a man to respect. Women don't fall for the man who tries the hardest, they fall for the man who is the hardest to impress, the one who doesn't need to prove anything because his presence speaks for itself. Becoming your worth means evolving into a version of yourself that doesn't seek validation. A man who doesn't flinch when she pulls away, who doesn't fold when she tests, who doesn't explain himself to be understood, because he already understands who he is. You don't do it for revenge, or to get her back. You do it because self-respect is the foundation of real masculinity. You become disciplined with your time, ruthless with your energy. You don't chase women, you chase purpose. And that shift is everything. When she realizes you're no longer trying to win her, when she feels your absence instead of your attention, everything changes. Now she's the one left questioning. Now she's the one measuring her worth against your distance. That's when she starts to feel the contrast. Not because you were cruel, but because you stepped back, focused on your mission, and let her feel the void your presence once filled. You don't become a man of value by explaining yourself. You become it through silence, through stillness, through consistent action. And the more you build that presence, the more women chase the feeling they lost when you walked away. Stop asking why she left. Stop replaying the moments. Stop searching for closure in places that only echo silence. The truth is, the why will never give you peace. It will only keep you stuck in a loop of self-doubt and overthinking. The more you ask why, the more power you give to her absence. But power doesn't live in questions, it lives in decisions. And the real question you need to ask now isn't why did she leave, it's what's next. That shift in mindset is everything. When you stop trying to understand her behavior and start focusing on your next move, you regain control. Because closure isn't something she gives you, it's something you build through action. Use the silence she left behind as space to grow. Use the void as room to build something better, something stronger. You. Every unanswered text, every moment of doubt, every mental replay of what went wrong, use it as fuel. Ask yourself, what do I want to become? What kind of man do I need to be so that the next time I give someone my energy, it's coming from a place of abundance, not neediness? The moment you redirect your focus from her to your purpose, your healing accelerates. She stops being the center of your thoughts, and you become the center of your own growth. You don't rebuild by analyzing her silence. You rebuild by choosing to move forward without needing her permission. This isn't about forgetting her. It's about choosing yourself. Every time you start to spiral, pause and shift the question. Not why did this happen, but what am I building from it? That's the mindset of a man who's done chasing answers and started chasing legacy. And that's the man who can't be broken. Her silence wasn't a message, it was a mirror. It didn't tell you you weren't enough. It showed you who you were when you gave your power away. See, most men take her distance as rejection, as a signal that they failed. But the truth is, that silence reflected a version of you that was waiting, not leading. A version that was emotionally reactive, chasing her validation, hoping that love would be returned just because you offered it freely. But love doesn't work that way. Respect doesn't work that way. You can't earn someone's loyalty by abandoning your self-worth, so now you don't respond with bitterness. You respond with evolution. That man, she ignored. That version of you who sat by the phone, who broke his own boundaries just to keep her happy, he needed to die. And in his place, a new man must rise. A man who no longer gives his energy to women who don't match it. A man who isn't afraid of losing someone who couldn't see his value in the first place. When she pulled away, she wasn't trying to hurt you. She was revealing where you were weak. The way you reacted, that wasn't her fault. That was your mirror, your lesson. Because the man who holds his power doesn't get shaken by silence. He sees it as information. He uses it to calibrate. He asks, what did this show me about myself? And then he grows. And when you become that version, colder, clearer, you don't chase, you don't explain, you don't break, you simply become undeniable. Because now, you've realized something most men never do. Her silence wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to rebuild you into someone she could never forget. And someone you finally respect. Attention is your most powerful currency, and most men spend it recklessly. Every time you check her story, stalk her page, reread old messages, or hesitate to send that one last text, you're making a payment, not in money, but in energy. And here's the hard truth. She didn't earn that access anymore. You're giving away your emotional resources to someone who stopped investing. And that's not strength. That's self-abandonment. You have to understand where your attention goes. Your power flows. If you keep directing your focus toward her, what she's doing, who she's with, whether she still thinks about you, you're starving your own growth. You're feeding a ghost. The real shift happens the moment you stop seeking her reaction and start reclaiming your own direction. Not out of spite, but out of discipline. Every scroll, every glance, every thought you give her is a withdrawal from the energy bank you should be using to build your body, your mind, your mission. Attention isn't free, it's an investment. And from now on, you only invest where you get returns. If someone can't match your energy, your time, your depth, they get no access. You're not background noise. You're not someone who waits quietly, hoping for a reply. You're the vault. You are sacred ground. Let your silence speak for you. Let your absence carry weight. Because when your attention becomes scarce, it becomes valuable. And suddenly, she realizes what she lost wasn't just your presence, it was your focus, your energy, your essence. That's how you flip the game. You stop chasing, you stop giving. You stop spending your power on people who didn't earn it. And when you finally give it again, it won't be wasted. It will be respected, because now, you're not just a man. You're a standard.